Imagine this. You're in a room full of people, and one man stands out. He's not the loudest. He's not the one buying drinks or commanding attention with flashy moves. Instead, he's quietly intriguing, speaking in a way that draws people in like gravity. Every word he says is smooth, confident, intentional. Women notice him. They lean in. They want to know more. What's his secret? How does he manage to create so much interest with just his words? In this video, we're going deep into the psychology, the art, and the science behind how high-value men talk, what they say, and just as importantly, how they say it. We're talking about those power words that seem to reach right into the soul, the techniques that spark curiosity, and the approaches that make women lean in closer. If you've ever wanted to know how the most intriguing men communicate, stay tuned, because what you're about to learn could just change how you approach every conversation from now on. Number 1. The power of intentional language. High-value men know that words are not merely tools for expressing thoughts. They are carefully selected instruments to create an experience. Rather than filling the air with empty small talk, these men choose words that serve a purpose, whether it's to make someone feel understood, intrigued, or deeply valued. They understand that impactful communication is less about the quantity of words spoken and more about the quality and precision behind each phrase. For instance, when a high-value man speaks, he avoids the temptation to immediately fill silence with chatter. He doesn't just say things like, "How's your day?" or "What do you do?" Instead, he might say, "What's something that's lit you up lately?" This small shift is intentional. It's crafted to draw out stories, passions, or dreams, things that make conversations meaningful and memorable. By steering conversations towards emotionally rich topics, he naturally creates a deeper connection and subtly signals that he's looking for more than surface-level interactions. This ability to be intentional with language often stands out because it contrasts with the standard conversations we experience every day. In a world where most people default to shallow chit-chat, a high-value man's deliberate and thoughtful speech makes him feel like someone worth listening to, someone who chooses his words because they mean something. Number 2. Using emotional words for impact. Emotions are at the heart of attraction, and high-value men are well aware that words have the power to evoke emotions directly. By using emotive language, words that carry strong feelings, these men make even ordinary statements feel profound. They know that saying, "You look nice," might get a polite "thank you," but saying, "You look absolutely mesmerizing tonight," has an entirely different impact. The word mesmerizing conjures a sense of fascination and intrigue that stays in the listener's mind far longer than a basic compliment would. High-value men might also use vivid descriptions to create imagery. Instead of saying, "I love traveling," they might say, "I love that feeling of stepping into a place where every sound, every smell tells you you're somewhere completely new." Descriptive language like this paints a scene, inviting the listener to imagine the experience with him. It's a way to transport someone into his world and make his stories feel personal and alive. Moreover, this approach also subtly hints at a depth of character. When a high-value man speaks this way, it's clear he's not just saying things for the sake of it. His language reflects his outlook on life, his curiosity, and his appreciation for the details. Women are often drawn to this type of communication because it feels more genuine and makes him seem like someone who sees and appreciates life's nuances. Number 3. The art of pausing and slowing down. One of the biggest mistakes people make when speaking is rushing through their words. High-value men, however, have mastered the art of pacing and pausing. They're not afraid of silence because they know that sometimes silence is just as powerful as words, In fact, a well-timed pause can make a sentence feel more impactful, adding weight and drama to whatever is being said. This is a technique often used by skilled speakers, and it's one high-value men use to great effect. For instance, imagine he's sharing a story about a thrilling adventure. Just before the climax, he pauses. He lets the silence build a sense of anticipation. In that pause, his listener leans in, eager to hear more. This is what makes a conversation feel captivating. It's not just the words spoken, but the rhythm and suspense created around them. Slowing down and pausing also conveys confidence. Someone who's constantly rushing to fill every moment with words might appear nervous or unsure, while someone who pauses exudes calm and control. Pausing shows that he's comfortable with himself, with silence, and with the impact his words create. It's a powerful non-verbal cue that communicates self-assurance and can leave a lasting impression. Number 4. Subtle commands and suggestive language. High-value men understand that direct demands or instructions can come across as forceful or even off-putting. Instead, they use embedded commands or suggestive language, phrases that plant ideas in the listener's mind without overtly telling them what to do. This approach is subtle, creating a sense of invitation rather than pressure. For example, instead of saying, "Let's get coffee," he might say, "I could see us enjoying a great cup of coffee at that little spot by the park." Notice how this phrasing invites her to imagine a shared experience without making it a concrete demand. This technique is gentle but powerful, as it allows the listener to feel like they are part of the decision. She's not being told, she's being invited. These phrases are designed to create visual imagery, which can be particularly effective in building rapport and attraction. When he says, "Imagine us," it's as if he's saying, "Picture yourself with me." This type of suggestive language gently guides the listener's imagination, creating an implicit bond and leaving a sense of anticipation for more shared experiences. Number 5. The power of curiosity-driven conversation. People often say that curiosity is one of the most attractive traits, and high-value men take this to heart. They use questions not as formalities, but as tools to open up deeper layers of conversation. Instead of asking, "What's your job?" they ask, "What's something you're passionate about but don't get to talk about much?" Or maybe, "If you could do anything anywhere, what would it be?" These questions are deliberately open-ended, inviting answers that reveal more personal, interesting, and meaningful insights. Such questions make the listener feel seen and understood, as they're not the type of questions most people hear daily. They go beyond the surface, showing that he's genuinely interested in her thoughts and experiences. This also gives her space to express her personality and passions, which in turn makes the interaction more memorable. What's brilliant about curiosity-driven conversation is that it naturally creates intrigue. When someone feels you're interested in knowing the real them, they're more likely to want to keep talking, to share more, and to ask questions in return. It transforms a casual conversation into a meaningful exchange, making the other person feel valued and appreciated. Number 6. Mirroring and matching, building instant connection. The art of mirroring goes beyond simply repeating words or gestures. It's about creating a subtle sense of harmony and rapport. High-value men know how to use mirroring to make others feel comfortable and connected, without appearing as if they're copying. If the person he's speaking with has a laid-back energy, he'll relax his tone to match. If she's enthusiastic, he'll increase his energy just a bit to reflect that. When used effectively, mirroring can make conversations feel natural and easygoing, as though the two people are already familiar with one another. It taps into a psychological principle called liking, We're naturally drawn to people who seem similar to us, so when a high-value man subtly matches his conversation partner's energy, it creates a bond. However, he's careful not to overdo it. Over-the-top mirroring can come across as insincere, so he keeps it subtle, using body language and tone in small, gradual adjustments that are barely noticeable. This technique creates a sense of us instead of you and me. It's subtle but powerful, fostering a connection that makes the other person feel like they're on the same wavelength. In a way, it's an invisible bridge that brings them closer together without needing a single word to explain why. Number 7. Using future pacing for lasting impact. Future pacing is a technique where someone talks about hypothetical shared experiences that involve the listener. High-value men often weave future pacing into conversations to create a sense of continuity and anticipation. They might say something like, "Next time we're here, we should try that dessert everyone's raving about," or "Imagine us on a beach, just relaxing with nowhere to be." This approach subtly suggests that spending more time together is already a given, creating an illusion of a shared future without being explicit. It's subtle but effective, helping to build a sense of familiarity and excitement for what's to come. Future pacing is not about creating expectations, but planting the idea of future possibilities, which makes the present moment feel even more special. When a high-value man uses this technique, he's inviting the listener to consider an idea that includes him in her life beyond the current moment. It's an unspoken promise of more to come, and that leaves a lasting impression, one that makes her wonder what else could happen if they continue to spend time together. Number 8. Confident vulnerability, the ultimate balancing act. High-value men strike a balance between confidence and vulnerability, showing that they're strong yet relatable. They're not afraid to talk about challenges they've faced, but they do it in a way that highlights their growth and self-awareness. Rather than saying, "I've struggled a lot," they might say, "I've learned a lot from some tough experiences." This reframing makes them appear resilient rather than defeated. Being open about one's struggles or areas of growth creates a level of authenticity that is both refreshing and attractive. Women often find this type of vulnerability appealing because it suggests depth, self-reflection, and a willingness to be real. High-value men aren't afraid to show their human side, and this authenticity resonates deeply because it's rare. Confident vulnerability tells the listener, "I'm strong, but I'm also real." It's an irresistible combination, one that makes the listener feel safe to be themselves as well. And that level of comfort and openness is the foundation of any meaningful connection. These elements combine to form the art of high-value communication, where every word is intentional, every silence purposeful, and every question a doorway to a deeper connection. By mastering these techniques, high-value men elevate themselves not just as conversationalists, but as people who genuinely understand the art of making others feel valued and seen.